Ladies and gents, this is Mass back again with another video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Enjoy the show.
All right, welcome to Middle Age Still Single, the podcast. We have a new segment. We have a new project that we're working on. Nasir and myself are huge movie fans, and we decided we want to share some of our love and appreciation of classic film with you. Today we were going to be talking about the classic, the 1994 Quentin Tarantino film, Pulp Fiction. All right, so let's get it going. Well, first of all, what's up, Nas? How we doing, sir?
Man, feeling great, buddy.
All right, you excited about this, man? We've been talking about some film for a long time, bro.
Anytime I can talk about this particular film, it's all good.
So give me your overall impressions, man. Pulp Fiction. Give me. What do you remember? Like what strikes you the hardest?
Well, to me, the whole film is about Jules, even though that's not probably what it was intended to do. You know, for me, he was the one that resonated with me the most because he was, philosophical, but grimy and in your face and regular. But he still had that other element about it. But the film as a whole, to me, it was a microcosm and an explanation of life and the world as a whole. I mean, you had the villain, you had the good guy who was corrupt. He was kind of a good guy, I guess. I
was about to say, who was really the good guy here? The drug dealer?
Nobody really, but yeah. They kind of made you. Tarantino almost made you think he was a good guy, but when he took that, when he screwed over Boss Man and tried to get away with the money, you saw that he really wasn't as much of a good guy as he seemed. He was just quiet, But so I view it as a microcosm of life and many experiences that other people have. Myself, probably you. I mean, there's a million things that happen in that movie that we can all identify with. Jules was the thing for me.
Yeah, one of the things I think about, if all of the main characters had this duality to them. Like they had the really good side and the bad side to them. Which is really everybody in the world. But it really kind of highlighted that. Like, even Jules, showed grace and mercy at the end. Marcellus Wallace, he forgave. He might never forget what Butch did to him, but he forgave.
Right.
Vincent, say even though he was doing it to save his own life, he took care of Mia Wallace. He was loyal too. He knew there was there was a line he could not cross. So like all of the main characters really had had two sides to them, which I think was great. So that's your favorite part. I mean, that's your favorite character, Jules. It's my favorite character too. Matter of fact, if I could play any character in film history, I would love to play him. Like seriously, I think that would be a fun ass role to play.
Yeah, I like Jules because he was never intending to be funny, but he was funny as hell.
He was funny as hell.
And what he was being funny about was serious shit. Like he was, when, you and I talk about the conversation in the hallway, just a simple conversation about the guy's weight.
Yeah.
But he was saying, so you know how now we have, back then it wasn't a thing, but now you have fat shaming, right? Mm-hmm. So he's like, well, I don't know what we can call it, motherfucker. I mean, how you say you do it better than me?
Yeah, like I don't know if I go so far as to call the brother fat. He got a weight problem. What
the fuck you gonna
do? yeah. Like that whole scene is unbelievably well written. The whole back and forth about the foot massage, this like really, really well written stuff, and like it just shows different sides. Like in most movies, you don't get to see that from hitmen, right? Hitmen and guys that work for a major drug dealer. You see the action and you see the shooting and you see the people getting fucked up.
And they really are gangsters.
Yeah, even though they having a conversation about a Royale with cheeses and what do you call a damn quarter pounder with cheese in Amsterdam. So the script was beautifully written. Which was your favorite segment then? So if you haven't seen the movie, there's 4 segments. So go ahead. What's your favorite segment?
Go ahead. Break down the 4 segments for people before I talk about the one.
So we talk about Mia Wallace, right? Then we have the pocket watch, right? Then we have the oh man, I can't believe I'm the Bonnie situation.
Yeah.
And what was the 4th one? Holy crap! I can't believe
that was when they were in the restaurant.
Yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm.
Right. So the Bonnie situation and also the restaurant situation were the 2 segments that I liked the most. Mm-hmm. I don't think that they were the 2 that had the most significance, but kind of the Bonnie situation probably did, because it definitely hinged on them possibly being caught in that situation, but they had someone who had they were connected enough to be able to get someone who's to come and get them out of the situation. But in the situation, you could see them realizing their mortality. Like, they were gangsters and they face death all the time. But in that particular situation, you saw 2 gangsters feeling like the law can really get us right now. How are we going to? We have to humble ourselves. Well, initially Vincent was talking shit, but they eventually had to humble themselves to someone else who had more power than them, and to get them out of the situation. So much so that when they got done, they had to go eat, even though it was breakfast. The boys had worked up an appetite, and they were also really reflective. I mean, Vincent a little less reflective.
Yeah, he was a lot less reflective, but yeah, for sure.
Right. But he was still able to present some interesting ideas in the conversation.
Yeah, in rebuttal to, Jules' moment of clarity,
right.
And I guess he didn't want to lose his partner. He understood that, sometimes
trying to talk about it.
Yeah, right. It wasn't really that deep to him. So, but what are you going to do? But so let me ask you a question. So there was a bunch of I guess some of them was probably a little bit longer than cameos, but like which of the other smaller role characters are your favorite? There was a lot of them in there. There's a lot of stars that did that movie, right? So besides Samuel L. Jackson and Travolta, who was your favorite character other than those 2?
My favorite. Oh, wow. My favorite. I mean, the Marcellus Wallace character. I mean, how can you not like Ving Rhames' performance?
I love
and he wasn't even
that role.
He wasn't a star at the time.
No. But he did a great job.
He did an excellent job. I mean, that blew his career up right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this movie blew up a lot of careers, man.
It did. It really did.
It put John Travolta back on the spot, on the map. Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, okay, so there's the other character other than Jules. It's got to be the Travolta's character. Mm-hmm. He was multi-layered too, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh no,
he was kind of philosophical. He was flawed even as a hitman. He was flawed, because remember when Mia was dying, he was doing all the wrong stuff. Mm-hmm. Because the only thing he was thinking about was, if this woman dies, I'm dead too. Mm-hmm. But he completely forgot about the fact that he could get pulled over. He's got this woman in the car with him. He's flying down the street, and you saw his vulnerability when they were attempting to revive her. Mm-hmm. And it was because some hardcore gangsters are like, well, that's just what it is. Now he was in fear, right? He knew. Mm-hmm. But this is going to blow you away, though. It's going to surprise you. The little annoying mouse woman. Mm-hmm. Oh, baby, you hurt my feelings. And I think that she was the every woman, because she was always doing that at the wrong time.
Mhm.
She was all at once the sweetest girl, the kind of girl you want, but also showing how women are always unaware of threat.
Mhm.
Baby, whose motorcycle? She couldn't look at him and tell, baby, we gotta go. Like, look at your man's eyes. Can't you see this? She couldn't see it.
Hey, listen, she. I tell you what, though, the actress, she did a really good job because I think that's what they were trying to portray. That
she pulled it off.
She really did pull it
definitely
off.
pulled that off, man.
You know? The matter of fact, the women in the movie, to be honest with you, now that I really think about it, none of them really come off as all that likable, to be honest with you, right? Like even if you think about the Rosanna Arquette character, the drug dealer's girlfriend with all the earrings and the pierce.
She wasn't likable.
All the piercing, she wasn't likable. She was kind of whiny, and she didn't give a shit that this girl was about to die on her floor. She just wanted her out of there, so she didn't come off very likable. Even Honey Bunny, kind of a pain in the ass. Like she got.
I really didn't like her at all, man.
Really? Well,
I did not like her at all, man. And one of the reasons why I didn't like her, I gotta pee. That part right there was excellent to put in the movie because it showed that she really was not ready for that world.
Oh no.
Because when they face resistance, both of them, when they face real G's, they buckled like some cheap Chinese furniture. And she up there talking about she got to pee. All Vincent would have had to do was jump at her, and she would have.
It would have been done, yeah. No.
Should have been done. So, and I think that Tarantino was. I don't know. I mean, having it go down the way it did with those two guys shows that there are levels to the game, and those guys are at the pinnacle.
Those, yeah. Well, that's the difference between real gangsters and people that are, trying to be in that world,
And they were just trying to be in that world because they were looking for the easy get.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what they were talking about. Less resistance. Like they were, robbing liquor stores was too much for them. Too risky.
Nobody's expecting this, right?
Too much risk, not enough reward. But so I'm gonna throw some other characters out there, man. You can give me your impression here. How about Christopher Walken's character, man? Did you like that part? Like I felt like a lot of people thought that was an unnecessary part of the film. Did you like that?
Initially I did, but I think initially I did agree. I thought that it was an unnecessary because I didn't understand the point of it. But I think he used Christopher Walken to increase the significance of the watch.
The watch, yeah, exactly. Why would you just not leave the watch?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So Chris and who else? I mean, whose voice? I mean, Christopher Walken is one of the. I don't know if he's underrated, but he's a fucking excellent actor. He's
incredible.
He's incredible. When he was in the movie, he had a small role in Man on Fire.
Oh, and he was great in that movie.
Yeah, and what he say about the Denzel character? He says he's about to do his masterpiece.
This is it. He's an artist.
He's an artist, and he did.
He did.
I mean, and Christopher Walken gave color to that scene, just like the watch scene. If you step back away from your not understanding the scene, you'll see the power of the scene because it slows down from the energy of the other scenes, right?
Yeah,
slows all the way down, almost like it pumped the brakes. And now all you got is Christopher Walken's voice,
and which is great. And there's no one else talking. It's just him. He's telling a story.
It's just him.
Yeah, it's a great scene. The kid doesn't even say a word. But
not a word.
we get the message and we explain to you before you even find out about the watch, but why you have to risk your life to go get that watch back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He had it in his ass. I mean, that dude right there, man. Like, I mean, I'm a little bit pissed off at Tarantino for his last film, or when he died, he did Bruce Lee, but I can't take away his genius in the way he puts movies together, man.
Yeah.
Even that unnecessarily brutal cowboy movie.
Okay.
Like, it's a good movie, man. It's the kind of movie he makes movies you don't get until later.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think sometimes you have to watch some of his movies a couple times in order to really, really appreciate them.
Because it's layers
at its fullest. Because there is and it's not an easy thing. Like sometimes, when you read even if you read a textbook, sometimes if it's really difficult to read, you got to read it a couple different times before you can understand it. And I think sometimes with Tarantino's stuff, it's to really get the essence of what he's doing, you have to watch it a couple
times. Right.
What
I just like.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead, man.
No, I'm just gonna say I like the sequencing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So a lot of people didn't like the nonlinear.
Oh man, that's the brilliance of it because it makes you. You know how sometimes how sometimes like in my job, I'm asking people questions, right? And I see their brain trying to connect things, right? And you see the eye go up. Every time. It doesn't matter what culture they're from. The eye goes up. When I'm looking at a Tarantino film and it switches scenes or sequences, my eye goes up. I'm trying to connect things. It's making you think, right?
Yeah.
You're not just kind of just sitting back, yeah. Early in the movie, this happened, I think that's one of the things that I really like about the way he directs.
Yeah. How about one of my other favorite characters was another screen legend, Harvey Keitel. Loved his part, the Wolf.
Yeah,
Mr. Wolf, the great part, man. What was your opinion of the Wolf?
Wolf was the coolest one in the movie, man. Other than Marcellus Wallace's character, he was the coolest. I mean, that's the kind of guy you want to be because he could have easily started yelling at Travolta's character for challenging him or not basically being nice.
Asking for a please.
From a gangster.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You're a gangster too. What do you think
he's
I'm
doing you a favor. He's cleaning up your mess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think Tarantino, this is why I really like the Bonnie situation. Because there's so many layers to that sequence, man. From the woman being a black woman to Tarantino saying what was he calling it? You look like it dead nigga storage?
Dead nigga storage, yeah. Yeah.
Right, he just kept saying it. I'm like, okay, we get it. But I understand why he was doing it. And he's talking to a black gangster.
Who understood.
Who understood.
Yeah.
It never fazed him. He knows Bonnie is black, right? But that's one layer of it. Then the other layer of it is that how do they even know him?
Yeah.
He's not like them, but he wasn't afraid of them.
He's connected somehow.
He's connected somehow. And Tarantino never tells us.
No.
The Wolf seems like he's a well-connected man. He didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, there's a lot of things that Tarantino doesn't explain. Like the big one, that was like a trend on the internet, like as far as Pulp Fiction is concerned. What's in the briefcase? What's in the briefcase? Like I've heard a ton of different theories on what's in the briefcase. What do you think is in the briefcase, man?
Gold bars? I don't know, maybe, or either not just gold, but it's some type of artifact that's made of gold. It has to be gold because of the way it's
the shine.
It's shine, right? Or platinum. It couldn't be platinum because platinum wouldn't have a gold sheen like that, right? I think it's an artifact.
Mm-hmm.
But now here's the thing: the reason why an artifact would be difficult to understand, because why would all of them know what it is just by looking at it?
Well, why would those kids even have the artifact?
Why would they have it? So
Mm-hmm.
well, the kids could have had it because the kids could have been a go-between for Marcellus,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then maybe they try to sell it themselves, which is
Mm-hmm.
what I thought was happening with that scene. But it seems like it has to be some, because they're saying, is that what I think it is? So it's something that might be common to people.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Hope Diamond,
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. But, and I'm not saying that the robber in the store, I can't remember, Tim Ross character.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
He couldn't take his eyes off of it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, I think he also said, is that what I think it is?
Yeah, he said, yes. Is that what I think it is? Mm-hmm.
Right. And so it has to be something that's recognizable to everybody. Because I'm not saying he's an idiot, but why would he? Because he's not on the same level of criminal enterprise as Marcellus Wallace.
No.
So why would he just automatically know what that thing is? So to me, it has to be something that's easily recognizable. Hope Diamond, maybe not, because the diamond would be more sparkly instead of just being like a gold sheen. But in my mind, it had to be something like that.
So I think that the shine was just symbolic, to be honest with you. Like if you look at the guys that they're with, like the guys that had it, like I would think maybe some kind of heroin or maybe some cocaine or something like that. Some of the other theories going on around the internet was it was actually Marcellus Wallace's soul that had been taken from him, and that was the reason for, I guess now this is something that I've read. If you look at the back of his head, he had the Band-Aid.
The Band-Aid.
Yeah, and that's where they, for whatever reason, that's where they thought the location of the soul was mythologically. So there's a lot of different things, but we'll never know unless we sit down with Tarantino and ask him. But that's something, he leaves a lot for people to go back and do, man. He allows for a lot of interpretation.
And that was a long time ago, and he was thinking like that when he did that movie. It was beyond most of the audience that when he did that, right? Because it was so brilliant the way it was written. I didn't even give a shit what was in it.
No, it doesn't matter. It really, what's in it really doesn't matter. Yeah,
doesn't matter what was going on around it. Was, but that's the brilliance of Tarantino.
No, for sure.
In the way that he's controlling the audience every single scene, man, every single step. He's not allowing you, until you step away from the film, to think about anything else but what's going on.
No.
Because think about it. I didn't think about that goddamn Band-Aid behind his head. I was like, that nigga cut his head. Motherfucker cut his head, cut that bald head, But then later you come back and you see people talking about it, about his soul and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's unless we ever see him and ask him what the hell was in it, we'll never know.
I mean, because why would? So my thing is, why would all of them know what a soul looked like? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it had to be something that everybody could recognize. Now, unless we're saying everybody can recognize the soul, then
or why would the soul be even in the suitcase? Yeah, I mean,
yeah. I mean, it's a conversation stuff.
It is, and people are still talking about it. What are we like? Almost 30 years later.
Yeah.
What are we? 1994, 28 years later. We're still talking about it.
Yeah, damn, that was 94. Wow.
So another fun fact, like I said, they say that is the day that it was released is the best date in movie history, because Pulp Fiction and Shawshank Redemption released on the same exact day. An amazing day for film right there.
Right. Well, and both of them, I don't know what their box office was, but
Not good. Well, Pulp Fiction was better than Shawshank. Shawshank did terrible in the box office.
But now people love it.
Oh, it's a classic now.
People talk about it now. People, go through and all of the things that were significant in the movie. People talk about it now. All the things.
Every legitimate top 100 list of movies is there.
Yeah.
In fact, most of the time it's within the top 10.
It's excellent.
Yeah. All right. So, any other your favorite of all of the scenes, of all the interactions of Pulp Fiction? What was the one that stands out in your mind the most, man?
The one that stands out the most in my mind. Man, that is so many though. But it just has to be the ending. Mm-hmm. We see these two guys. We know what the demise of one. We know one of them is gone, right? And the other one is about to embark on this journey. Does he make it on that journey? So them walking away, it left me really wanting more of this. But Tarantino never gives it to us. And I guess he couldn't because you can't bring the guy back. He got shot, I don't know, in quick succession with, 10 bullets or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And it was too realistic of a scene to say he survived that. Mm-hmm. And it would have weakened. If he tried to do another movie, if he brought him back, it would be like, okay. No. Yeah. But just the scene of them walking away had a really deep impact on me because I immediately started thinking about my own mortality, what I'm going to do next. Mm-hmm. These guys one guy's a day or so away from dying.
Yeah.
And the other guy is embarking on a journey that he doesn't know where it's going to take him, Mm-hmm. And those are two conflicting emotions. You like this guy, he's gone. This guy right here, what's life going to be like with him without his partner and also just traveling the world like that?
Yeah, he's going to walk the earth. Yeah, I didn't even think about it, but you're right. You're right. A lot of things changed after they walked out.
Yeah, man. The whole world was different when because of the way Tarantino set it up. We know what they're about to do next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
what's about to happen, at least
right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you see these two guys walking after what seemed to be a breakthrough for them. Even though they didn't leave in agreement, they left together. Like the bro code. Mm-hmm. They left together and you could tell that they were ready to face whatever. But we know that they didn't. They weren't able to.
Speaking of bro code, my favorite scene in the movie, the deepest scene for me, is when Bruce Willis he breaks free and getting ready to escape, and he says, "No,
I can't let another man go out like this.
I can't let him." Even though Marcellus was trying to kill him, he's like, "You know what? I can't go and let him do this." And he went down and he killed the shop owner, mm-hmm. and cut Marcellus free. That's my favorite scene. That's code to me. We talk
that's
about
code.
it, man.
That's
it's
code.
Code, right? Even though we're not agreeing right now, you're trying to kill me. I ain't gonna let you do it like that. I ain't gonna let somebody else do it to you. Like that.
And here's I'm going to bring something full circle for you.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't know. He wasn't friends with Marcellus Wallace, mm-hmm. But Marcellus Wallace is a man, mm-hmm. right? He didn't have to know him for the code to matter. Now, we've heard recently that I don't care about anybody else, any other man, but the code is the code. Now, there are levels of the code as you get closer to you, I believe. But that's bro code right there. when you see another man that is being violated in a way that you know it shouldn't be, and you gotta step up, man. How you gonna live with yourself like that?
Yeah.
You know, me and Marcellus Wallace, there ain't no more us. Oh, me and you. Oh, that what now?
Yeah.
LA, your LA privileges.
It's a great scene, and even the fact that Butch didn't know how Marcellus was going to react. Even after that, it's like, hey, we good? You know, are we okay? Yeah, that's one of my favorite lines. I'm pretty fucking far from okay. But.
Right. But here's how deep that goes. That scene goes. He could have stabbed a dude.
Oh, yeah.
Marcellus Wallace could have easily shot Butch.
Could have shot Butch. Yep.
And shot the other dude and did whatever he wanted to do to him. But he said, Butch, step aside.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and then Butch is back there still holding the knife. Could have stabbed Marcellus Wallace.
Oh, yeah.
But he says, are we good? That's bro code. That's two men understanding each other without having to talk about the details. You know, and that's what real men get. We understand it on a metaphysical level.
Yeah. What
it means to really have the bro code.
That is the code, bro, for sure.
That's the code, man.
All right, bro. Listen up, man. I can't believe we've been talking about this movie for 30 minutes already, man. It's crazy.
Hey, man. That's what happens when you're talking about something like that.
That's what happens. Listen, man. So next film we're going to do, I want to do The Godfather, man. Are you down for that, bro?
Let's do The Godfather, man.
Dude,
let's do The Godfather.
Dude, that's going to be a 2-hour discussion, man, because that film is so deep, it's so beautiful, and so intricate. Dude, I can't wait to talk about that,
bro. Bro, name a film that's better than that.
There's not very many, bro. Seriously, there's not very many.
I can't. I mean, I can't think of one, man. Maybe if I thought about it a little longer, but
just beautifully filmed, the color, the music, the family. It's like, dude, it's a beautiful. And as I got older and I watched it here like in the last 2 weeks, and I noticed more things, and I could look deep in, like, one of my favorite scenes, and we'll talk about it, is like when Michael is about to enter that life where he can never go back again. One of my favorite scenes. We'll talk about that next week, man. But that's probably one of my favorite scenes in movie history.
Yeah, man, I'm excited to talk about that one, man. I got a lot of thoughts about that.
All right, brother. Listen, thanks for hanging out.
All right.
We'll do this next week, man.